We had to stay in port for almost 2 months, but finally U-55 was ready for another patrol. There are of course multiple reasons for the very long stay. It has been just a few months since Lorient has been turned into a U-boat base, and you notice on every corner that a lot of things are still very much improvised. Work processes are not going hand in hand, workers still need a lot of training, and workstations and logistics have not been set up properly yet. The efficiency is still a far cry away from Wilhelmshaven and Kiel. All of that despite Dönitz making Lorient the headquarters of the U-boat fleet. So it must be even worse in the other bases, like Brest and La Rochelle. The other reason for our long stay is that our boat has received an extensive overhaul. All the important systems on board have been checked and serviced. We have also received new battery banks. The new battery banks have a higher capacity and can be recharged faster than the previous ones. I'm sure that we will need those improved capabilities in our new patrol area. Our new patrol area, that this time isn't very far away from here. It is in BF-15, just a few hundred kilometers away, right in the Celtic Sea and right in the approaches to the Bristol Channel and the Irish Sea. To say that this area is dangerous would be a ridiculous understatement. One of England's most important lifelines runs right through it. All the ships arriving from the Mediterranean, India, Africa, South America, they all have to pass through that area to bring their precious cargo to Bristol and Liverpool. It can therefore be expected that England will do its utmost to protect this area from our predations. This close to England's shores, aircraft patrols will be very frequent. And due to the proximity to France, any ships passing through it will receive a heavy escort. In that deadly environment, our boat will need every advantage it can get. That is why the crew painted a camouflage pattern on the boat. It is supposed to break up our silhouette and therefore make the boat much harder to spot. I am not surprised that as one of the most successful boats, we are selected for this dangerous task. The Type 7 is the ideal submarine to operate in these waters, where speed and the ability to dive fast are more important than raw endurance and firepower. Those are qualities of the Type 9 submarines that hunt far out in the Atlantic, far beyond the range of any aircraft, and far beyond the range of most escorts. I wonder how it would be to command one of those one day. But those thoughts are for another day in the future. I have to focus on what is important right now, and that is the survival of my crew. A crew that thankfully hasn't been changed in its composition too much. One sailor has been sent to a new U-boat, while we have received a replacement fresh from training. I'm sure that he will be up to speed really soon. The crew has had a good time in Lorient, despite the locals being very cautious when interacting with us. You see it especially in the eyes of the older people, the wounded pride and the sense of defeat that they must feel. It is not helpful at all that some of the German officers in the town display a very disdainful attitude towards the locals. And so the sense of defeat that you see in their eyes is joined by anger and resentment. Two emotions that at a first glance don't seem to extend to those that make business with us. The people delivering goods to the base and the garrison, the shopkeepers and barkeeps, they are all too happy to take our money with a big smile. But that smile sometimes seems like a mask, and beneath it are the same emotions that you see on the other people. I wonder what that means for our future here, and if we will ever be able to integrate with the local people. I notice a few very sad faces among my crew and a few pretty young ladies waving us goodbye. So I think that at least some of the sailors are integrating pretty well. Young people really are the same everywhere, and they are quick to find the common language. It is somehow nice to think that there will be someone hoping for our return here, waiting for us and cheering for us when we do get back. For now we are leaving behind a city that is trembling with uncertainty, nervousness, trying to adjust to a new reality of life, something that I imagine is not easy on those people there. And while we sail out, another U-boat comes back into harbor. It is now their turn to rest and refit. And I do hope for the sad faces in my crew that those pretty young ladies that we saw waving us goodbye are now not welcoming the other submarine. We are heading out, following behind the minesweeper. The approaches to the harbor are very dangerous waters. Not only are there defensive minefields, but the Royal Air Force is also regularly busy dropping mines into the approaches, in the hopes of sinking ships or submarines. As we are following the minesweeper, I'm also thinking about the current state of the war. I think it is fair to say that the quick victory over England is out of the picture. We are winning the war at sea. We are sinking their freighters at a rate that has never before been seen in history, slowly choking the nation of resources, food and fuel. But still more than enough ships are getting through to sustain them. And unfortunately the Luftwaffe was unable to win a decisive victory over England. From the few friends that I have in the Air Force, I know that they have suffered quite a few losses. The Royal Air Force has been able to stand up to them. And that means that there won't be an invasion of England, at least not this year. I think the Army and the Luftwaffe are recuperating their strength now, gearing up for a huge showdown next year. Until then, we have to be the ones who continue to be victorious at sea. We have to continue to make sure that war materials can't reach the island. The more war materials reach them, the better they will be able to prepare for an eventual invasion. There's also the hope that if we continue to sink their ships at this rate, they will be unable to sustain civilized life on the islands and will have to surrender. But we have a new, very strong adversary. In the United States, Roosevelt has been re-elected as president, and he has always been very much in favor of supporting Britain in its fight against us. Now that he's been re-elected, he will double down on that. The question therefore will be, can we sink their supplies faster than the United States are able to send them? Suddenly we see flashes and searchlights illuminating the horizon where Lorient is, and a huge pillar of smoke is rising into the sky. It seems the Royal Air Force is visiting the harbor just as we departed it. A surprise raid just before sunset. I'm glad that we are out of the harbor. I wouldn't want to be in that chaos right now. We man the anti-aircraft gun, and soon enough an enemy aircraft appears not too far away from us. Fingers tighten on the triggers, but the aircraft, having dropped its bombs on the harbor, doesn't show any interest in us and flies out to sea. Sometime later, after the sun has vanished completely, we detach from our escort. The minesweeper will return to the harbor. Without a doubt, they will have a very busy night, making sure that none of the enemy aircraft drop mines into the harbor. We continue out to sea, increasing our speed to get into deeper waters as soon as possible. We are heading out towards an uncertain future and towards very certain danger. And then a very sad thought occurs to me. The Royal Air Force has just demonstrated to us that despite facing the incredible dangers out on patrol, we won't be able to feel safe when we return home to port. If we don't end this war soon, we may never feel safe again.
Flugzeug gesichtet. Lage 6-9. Große Entfernung.
Crash dive the boat.
Derzeitige Tiefe 1-0.
Hart Backbau.
Come on, bring us down faster. Faster, damn it.
Derzeitige Tiefe 2-0.
This was close. Uncomfortably close. But it looks like we got away again. We will stay submerged. There's no other way. We will stay submerged during the day, and then, once night falls, we will surface the boat again. After a short voyage, we arrive in our patrol area on the morning of the 30th of November 1940. The waters in this area are 50 to 80 meters deep, leaving us very little room to hide from enemy destroyers. If we should encounter such an enemy, we will need all our skill and luck to survive the encounter. The crew is well aware of this, and the mood on board is tense. I'm very glad to see that every crew member is really focused on their tasks. The professionalism displayed here is inspiring. Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of our Silent Hunter 3 campaign with the OneAlex Mod Edition. It is nighttime, the weather is so-so, and we have sighted the ship somewhere in this direction here. So let's actually turn towards it and see what we are dealing with.
Neuer Kurs 313.
Also increase our speed.
Ein Drittel Fahrt voraus.
Good, let's go. Let's prepare a few things. So first of all, local conditions. We have a bit of depth to play with, but not too much. It is pretty much early in the night. And there is some kind of ship that we are going to have a look at. Now bring up the user, we'll need that in a moment. Once we complete our turn. Weather, as you can see, 9 meters per second, so that's quite a strong wind. That means the ship that we are encountering should better be a big one. It was, however, too dark to see any details. Okay, we're closing up the turn. Oh, there it is. Turn towards it. Wait a second. 340. That's... Destroyer, down periscope. Down to periscope depth immediately. Bring us down. Come on, down, down, down. And to slow down the boat. Slow down the engines. This is it, we are slipping beneath the waves. Okay. Down at 10.
Derzeitige Tiefe 1-0.
Thank you. Let's hope they didn't spot us. I need to hide with an operator on station. You. I want you there. Everybody else can rest. What are we facing? Give me an update. He's still scanning. Maybe we need to bring the boat a little bit deeper than this. But we'll stay here for now. I need a bearing to that ship, hydrofilm. Report the nearest ship. Moving fast, moving away. Bearing 341. Let's go to the observation periscope and raise that. 341 is over there. What are we looking at? Looks like some sort of corvette or frigate. Not a proper destroyer. In any case, we are not touching that thing. We are not touching that thing at all. Navigator. Do I turn to our old course? Yeah.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Gehen wieder auf Kurs, Herr Kaloin.
We are resuming our search pattern. I don't want any business with this thing. So, this isn't going to be an attack. This is going to be just an evasion. The area that we are in, BF-15, it is patrolled. Very much patrolled. We had a contact, or a report. We received a report about a large convoy. Unfortunately, it was heading away from us into the St. George Channel and the Irish Sea. Catching up to it would be a very time-consuming and, well, most likely futile effort, because the likelihood is very high that this convoy will turn somewhere here towards Bristol. So yeah, we are not going after it. Oops, didn't want to do that. Down periscope. Down periscope, down to 20. And we'll just evade this escort and hope for some better targets. But this area, it seems like a hornet's nest. This will not be easy. This will be a very difficult patrol. I'll see you once we have a new contact. We have a big problem. Full speed ahead. Man the flak guns, come on. He appeared out of nowhere and dropped the bomb. Okay, let's keep going for a moment until we are sure that he's not setting up for another run. What is that thing? That thing is fast. He really was onto us, really fast. Never mind, he's buggering off. Nothing happened to us. Step von der Kiel. Yeah, we are diving. Let's not give him another opportunity. Where is he? Don't see him right now, which I guess is a good thing. Drop us down to 50.
Neue Tiefe 5,0 Meter. Derzeitige Tiefe 2,0.
Alright. We are dropping down fast. Change our course a bit.
Derzeitige Tiefe 3,0. Neuer Kurs 1,1. Derzeitige Tiefe 4,0.
So, we are still of course in BF-15, and yes, this area is turning out to be an absolute hornet's nest. I thought we might try to stay surfaced during the day, just to see what kind of reception we would be receiving. And as we have just seen, the reception is pretty hot. So we are not gonna do that again. I think we have no other choice but to stay submerged during the days. By the way, what kind of aircraft was that? It was incredibly fast, much faster than the usual swordfish biplanes that we have seen so far. Let me know if you...
Derzeitige Tiefe 5-0.
Yeah, thank you. Let me know in the comments if you know what kind of aircraft that was. Was that a Sopwith? Not sure. Anyway, let's continue our patrol. Slow down the boat.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Thank you. Welcome back. We have an interesting development. We have dived the boat down to 20 meters just half an hour ago after submitting our morning report. And now we have a hydrophone contact. Let me show you. Do you hear that? It's very faint, very much so, but there's definitely a ship out there. More or less towards 300 degrees.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
So let's do the following.
1, 2. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Auf Seerotiefe gehen.
We are turning towards that direction. And we will take a look with our periscope.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Auf Seerotiefe gehen.
Bring us up, come on. But my guess is that we won't be able to see any smoke yet. We are still too far away. We will then go ahead, surface the boat and race towards that contact, hoping to catch it before any airplanes show up. Don't forget what I just said a little bit earlier. It is just half an hour ago that we submitted a radio report. Well, a little bit more than half an hour. We received the response half an hour ago. But if we are unlucky, then the enemy pretty much knows that we are in this area. Let's raise the observation periscope and take a look ahead. The weather today is very nice. So at least if there are any airplanes incoming, we will see them in time. But no, there doesn't seem to be anything on the horizon as of yet. Start increasing our speed. Let's monitor the skies. Nothing. Down observation periscope. Increase speed further.
Volle Fahrt voraus.
Okay, let's wait for our speed to climb a little bit. And then we'll surface. Prepare the boat. Are we ready? Surface.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Auftauchen. Vorne um 10, hinten komm auf 5.
There we go. Awesome.
Seewache sich klar machen.
Let's go up top. Be vigilant, guys. Be vigilant. Let's raise the antenna. Let's make sure that we have a well-rested crew up here. You can go ahead and rest. Don't need you on sonar any longer. Everybody else is fine except for you. I will be dropping you down in favor of a boatsman here. Good. Alright. Let's slow down a little bit.
Große Fahrt voraus.
Are we recharging? We are. There's not much to recharge though. So might as well
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Stop that.
Normaler Antrieb.
switch to standard propulsion, both screws propelling us forward. Contact is somewhere ahead of us. We should make good speed towards it. And it shouldn't be too long before we see smoke on the horizon. We'll resume the video then. We have contacts ahead of us. Smoke on the horizon. Multiple smoke columns. It's a convoy of sorts. Let's turn this way.
Neuer Kurs 337.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I count 5 ships. User to the bridge.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
There's 1, 2, that's a big one. That looks like a big one. It's much more prominent than the others. 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pillars of smoke. First and last. By looking at that, it looks to me like we have 1 ship in front, a group of 2, another group of 2, and then 1 ship in the back. So my guess is 2 escorts with 4 freighters. Let's check the conditions that we are facing. Depth under keel, 70. Weather report, 4 meters per second. Excellent. Thank you very much. It's still too early. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I think it's still 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's interesting that I can see the superstructures of these 4 ships here, but I can't see the superstructures of the one in the back and the one in the front, indicating that they are indeed escorts, escorting a bunch of bigger freighters or even tankers. Very interesting.
Jawohl, Herr
Come
Kaloin.
further left, increase speed.
Neuer Kurs 290. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Oops.
Volle
Wrong
Fahrt
button.
voraus.
I wonder if we have any more submarines in the area, or if we can get the Luftwaffe involved in this little fun activity that we are about to start. My only concern is that we don't have a lot of depth to hide in if things should go wrong. There they are. Now what might I be looking at? This here is definitely the big prize. This thing seems to be huge. The others aren't too shabby either. I mean, look at that, the superstructures are large, very large in fact. Just a little bit concerned because of the possible escorts. Although, looking at the first column of smoke, the superstructure is starting to come into view. And to be honest, it does not look like a warship superstructure. I see masts. Might be a merchant. What about the one in the back? No, I see more masts. Are they unescorted? Oh boy, if I found an unescorted convoy out here. That would be amazing. I can't believe it yet. But if that is indeed the case, then we have the great prize in front of us right here. I still have to get in a position ahead of them. We will have to ambush them in some way, and I have to verify their identity before I engage. After all, the ships might be neutral. Maybe that's why they are unescorted. And if they are neutral, then this chase isn't bringing us anywhere. I wonder how fast they are though. No, definitely. I see masts. This is not an escort. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 masts, I think. This thing has a huge superstructure. This one too. Same for these two. And the one in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4 masts. What am I looking at? I'm not sure, but I will continue to close the distance to get in a position ahead of them so that we can take a good look at them before we engage. Until then, let's pause it here and we'll return once I'm in a better position. We are slowly getting into a position ahead of the supposed convoy, and I'm relatively certain that it is indeed unescorted and that there are some tankers in it. So let's go to the attack periscope. Let's take another look at them. There they are. I still can't tell what exactly I'm looking at, but I doubt that any of those ships is indeed an escort. They all look like freighters. Or tankers. So I think we're about to have a fun time here. Now of course we need to set up our firing data and I need to select the target. And you know what? This thing here looks like the biggest of the bunch. So we are going for him. Definitely.
Kontakt, Frachter, kommt näher auf 109, große Entfernung.
Yeah, thank you. He's calling out that ship over there. Nice, okay, let's see. What do we need? I need their speed and I need their course, ideally. I can start to see a bit of their hull. So let's call to the weapons officer and get the attack disc ready. I think that at this bearing here, I'm looking more or less at an AOB of maybe 30? 30 to 40. Let's go with 35. That sounds reasonable. Yeah, 35. So their course is probably somewhere around 250 to 260. Let's go with 255. That's their course, more or less. So if I want to set up a 90-degree attack to that, we need to come right to 345. Yes. Should I just go in right now? Or should I wait a bit in hopes of getting ahead of them? I could try to get their speed though. They seem to be quite fast, but I'm not sure about that. What a catch. Yeah, but we'll definitely go for a 90-degree attack, so let's start setting things up. I will be shooting at their left side. Speed as yet to be determined. Let's set the range to 1 kilometer. That's good. Now what, let's actually turn in, close the distance,
Jawohl, Herr
and get the speed reading as soon as possible.
Neuer Kurs 3-2.
It's weird to see such a huge convoy in this area of all of all things, to be unescorted. I wonder if they are armed with deck guns. Like, maybe every single one of them is bristling with deck guns. And so they're assuming that that alone will be enough to deter any raiders. That's still a pretty brave move. If they are not heavily armed. How long are these ships? I suspect that this one has a length of over 150 meters. The other ones? Not quite sure. We will have to determine that once we get closer. But I want to take a preliminary speed reading, assuming that this thing is about, let's give it 170 meters. Seems like a really big tanker, so that should be more or less in its range. This will not be super accurate, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, stopping our turn. A bit too early for my taste, but we can fix that.
Neuer Kurs 3-4.
Turn a bit more. Convoy is coming into view. Nice. And turn is almost over. Come on. The big ship is about to come into view. There you are. Okay, our boat is turning to the left now. You can see it down here on the compass dial. Or here. So always wait until your boat has really settled on its new course before you take a speed reading. Otherwise, if it is bouncing back in the other direction, your measurement will be thrown off considerably by multiple seconds. So always wait a little bit. A little bit of patience never hurt anybody. Okay. There we go. That's good. Still no idea what kind of nationality I'm looking at. It is entirely possible that they are not British after all. That they are something entirely else. That would be a real shame though. That really would be a shame. I can't increase my speed further without blurring the periscope. We can lower it a bit though. That's very high up. This is better. I don't know how vigilant the crews on these ships are, but let's not risk it. Come on. We'll be there very soon. Maybe I can turn a little bit more.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 3-5.
Speed things up just a little bit. Na, turn even
Jawohl,
more.
Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 3-7.
While we are doing that, we can prepare a torpedo salvo. So this ship, if it is indeed a big tanker, it will have a draft of about 10 meters maybe maybe even below that. So let's go for 7 meters on the impact pistols. Setting all tubes to impact. Setting all tubes deep. Torpedo number 3 is a steam-driven torpedo, so we are not likely to use that one. We will be shooting tubes 1 and 4. Switch to salvo. Tubes 1 and 4 selected, both impact. Angle 2 degrees of the salvo. And we continue to close the distance. Good. Very good. That should work. Still waiting for this thing to get a little bit closer. I thought that they were faster than this, but now I'm not so sure anymore. They don't seem to be that fast. Yeah, one small freighter, 4 masts. I did see it earlier, and I didn't imagine seeing 4 masts. There are indeed 4 of them. One big freighter, another big freighter, tanker, a huge one, maybe another tanker, just judging by the engines being in the back of the ship and the funnel, and another freighter with 4 masts. Very curious little convoy. Don't know the dimensions of these freighters. But yeah, we'll just keep closing for now. Let's actually use a little bit of time acceleration, why not? They are much slower than I anticipated. So it shouldn't really be a problem to get somewhere where we can shoot at them. Clock is prepared. As I said, I'm giving this thing, I think, about 160, 170 meters, something like that. It seems really large. That's why. But it is going so slow. Okay, start the clock. Let's wait for the ship to pass through the periscope. Obviously, during my attack I will try to go for the 2 tankers first. Each one will probably receive 2 torpedoes. Let's hope that that's enough to finish them off. It is very slow. That should help me. Come on. 35 seconds already. Passing 40. 45. Wow. And stop. 57 seconds. 57 to 170 gives it a speed of about 5 to 6 knots. 5 to 6. Set up. Sounds believable. That sounds believable. Yeah, plausible. Let's come to... or let's make another estimation of the AOB. AOB for these ships... Weapons officer... on the bearing that I'm looking at, down here, AOB of that ship, more or less 45 degrees really. So they are sailing course 260, that means I have to come to 300, no, I have to come to 350. Come left to 350.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin.
Continue to close the
Neuer
distance.
Kurs, 3,
Down
4,
periscope. Sprint.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Volle Fahrt voraus.
Let's drop our depth.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neue Tiefe 1,6. Neue
Down to
Tiefe
20 meters.
2,0.
We are dropping our depth so that our quick movement beneath the surface doesn't create ripples on the surface. Not sure if that is simulated at all in the game, but why risk it? So let's drop down. We did speed up nicely. So we should now close the range really fast.
Derzeitige Tiefe 2-0.
Our Hydrophone. You can keep us updated on the nearest contact.
Frachter kommt näher auf 4-2.
Okay. Bearing 4-2.
Frachter auf 4-3 kommt näher.
Let's wait for a few minutes. And then we will take another look at them and see if we're in a good firing position. We've waited a few minutes. And we are now going back up to periscope depth to take another look at them. There we go. Let's go up into the conning tower and get on our attack periscope. Enemies are somewhere in this direction. There they are. Slow down the boat. We are pretty close. Actually come to all stop. Just drift. Freighter, 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 tanker, tanker, tanker. No freighter. Yeah, we are kinda close. Let's take a look at... Oh, crap. Do you see what I see? No? Take a good hard look. What did I just spot? I'll give you a hint. It's waving in the wind. It's their flag. And if my senses are not deceiving me, then that is an Irish flag. So these ships, these perfect, huge, beautiful targets are neutral. And I'm not allowed to sink them. Yeah. These are not enemy ships. These are just neutral freighters and tankers.
Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Neuer Kurs 5-1. Jawohl, Herr Kaloin. Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Oh crap. Yeah. That's that. We are not engaging them. Not at all. We are sailing on our way and we are leaving them here to tend to their business. It shouldn't surprise me to find Irish ships in the Celtic Sea. Not really. That's pretty much their backyard. So I guess that's a convoy of them going their merry way, delivering fuel to Ireland and, well, getting it from somewhere else. I was looking forward to a nice engagement here, but it seems that today we are not getting it. Today we did learn a nice lesson. Many nice lessons, in fact. Nice lesson number one, the waters that we are in are incredibly dangerous, and I have to be very, very careful. Lesson number two, I also have to be very careful about what I engage, because there are neutral ships here, and it wouldn't serve us to sink those. With that all said, I think we're ending today's video here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that despite us not sinking anything today, you still enjoyed the episode and are looking forward to the next one. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this situation are. Have some really great days, and until next time, goodbye.